Hi everybody, welcome back to Everything Green Tractors. My name is Phil Dance and I sell John Deere tractors. In our last video we had just removed the middle stump and we're in the process of backfilling the remaining hole. So today we're going to focus on removing the stump on the left hand side. This is a larger stump. It's about 1.5 feet in diameter and you're going to see that it has a pretty sizable root ball as well. I'm pretty excited about today's video because I feel like this one's going to take us a step closer to answering the questions of whether or not the 1025R tractor is powerful enough to complete most tasks around your home. The removal of this stump took about 1.5 hours. I know I definitely don't have 1.5 hours to kill, so in order to speed things up, I'm actually going to take the video to 20 times the speed it would normally be, and slowing it down during points that I want to discuss something. You're going to notice that while the film is going fast, the sound is going to remain the same. People ask me why I don't put music into my videos, and the answer is pretty simple. I love the sounds the tractor makes with the throaty, gruff engine and the humming of the hydraulic pumps. And I also don't have copyrights to any of the country songs about John Deere, which tends to be most of them. I have positioned my tractor closer to the stump so that I can dig behind it. I'm working within a quarter circle arch in an effort to uncover 1/4 of the tree root ball. Even though we had already partially began uncovering the roots with the removal of the smaller stump, I still want to start digging about 2 or 3 feet away from this stump. In that way, I can try to locate some of the larger roots that might be growing deeper into the ground. I still want to dig behind the tree, and I also want to make sure that I'm keeping the digging in front of the backhoe. Slowing it down here for just a few seconds. Right now I'm lifting up the loader of the tractor, even though you can't see it. And I'm also lifting up the outrigger arms. And now I want to use the backhoe to push the tractor away from the stump. In this way I can reposition my tractor without having to get out of the seat. And I want to point out that I don't have the parking brake set, which is fine as long as I'm not on a slope. This makes it easier to move the tractor. As long as I'm pushing the tractor back in a straight line, a pretty safe way to move the tractor. Once I'm happy with the position of my tractor, I'll go ahead and put the loader back down and put the outriggers back down, and then I'll just begin digging again. You can slightly turn the tractor tires and take it in the direction you want to go, but you just don't want to be aggressive on that turn. This technique is extremely useful when you're digging a trench. As long as you're not on a slope and you're paying attention to where the tractor is going, you can dig a trench long distances in a relatively short amount of time. So I've had a couple of viewers ask the question, why do I warn people about the safety of the rollover protection and then I operate the tractor without rollover protection? And the answer is, when creating these videos, I typically think about the people that I'm creating the videos for. For the most part, I'm thinking of that new large property owner who has never owned a tractor in their life. This describes most of my customers. When they're sitting in the showroom with me and we're watching a video on how a box blade works, it's pretty easy for me to explain to them why I've taken the ROPS off my tractor and why it probably is not a good idea for them. According to the John Deere's owner's manual, there's 2 positions that you can put your ROPS into. The first is the up and lock position directly over the head of the operator, and the second is a horizontal position directly behind the tractor. John Deere recommends putting the rollover protection into this position when you're in situations of a low canopy or overhead obstructions, or when entering a building. When the ROPS are in the horizontal position, they provide no protection to the operator, and Deere recommends removing your seat belt. If you watch some of my first videos, you'll see I'm traveling through the woods, and there are many branches that are at the height of the rollover protection. I also have a woodshed with a very low door height, and I keep my tractor in one of the stalls in my garage. I found that I was constantly hitting things with my ROPS, and in some cases I had popped the front tires up in the air when I was traveling at a good high rate of speed. Operating a tractor can be dangerous no matter what you're doing with the ROPS up or down. Each time you get on a tractor, you're assuming a level of risk that you're comfortable with. Having operated a tractor for 22 years, I feel like I know what the tractor is going to do, and therefore I'm much more comfortable with assuming a higher level of risk than, say, a brand new operator should be. I would much rather warn somebody about the risks of what could happen than say nothing and have it happen. In each case, an operator should know all of the warning labels on the tractor. They should review the owner's manual and make sure that they are doing everything they can to ensure that they're safe while they're operating the tractor. Moving on, I want to point out something from a previous video. Look at the way the tree is leaning, and you're going to see about 4 or 5 roots are growing in the direction of the lean, and you can see that on the opposite side tree, leaning away, there's only 1 root that was holding that tree down, kind of like I discussed in the last video. And at this point, I'm going to start testing whether or not that tree can be moved around, and you can see that it can. So I want to turn the tractor around and start using the root grapple. If I had a larger tractor, I'd probably hook up chains to the trunk at this point and then attach them to the tractor somewhere, and I would drive forward and try and pull it out of the hole. I have in the past done this with the 1025 tractor, and it takes a little while, but I'm usually able to pull the trunk out of the hole. When it comes to knowing the limits of your tractor, there are better techniques to remove that stump. Over time, I developed a technique for taking a stump of this size out of the hole that I call walking the stump. The reason I don't cut trees below 3 feet is so that I can leverage the stump by using the tree trunk. I begin by pushing dirt back into the hole, and then I'll go to the tree trunk and I'll rock the stump back and forth. In that way, I'm compacting the soil underneath the stump with the weight of the tree. As I do this, I'll continually push dirt underneath the stump and then rock it again. And what I'm trying to do here is dig a ramp that will allow me to get underneath the tree. And then I'll go to the other side of the tree and I'll do the same thing on that side. The idea is kind of working as a seesaw. I'll continually raise the stump up until it's at a level that I can just drive into the hole and push the stump out. And this worked great right up until this point where I got the stump stuck on my root grapple. So at this, I had to make a decision. The decision was I was going to push forward. Luckily, I'd already created partial ramp, and I was able to finally free my grapple off of the stump. Normally, I would move to the other side of the tree at this point, but since I already have the tree laying down, I'm going to go ahead and start taking soil off the bottom of the root ball. I'm backing up the tractor so that I can have a longer approach into the hole. This is how I'm digging a ramp, and that gives me pretty compact soil that I can trust is going to be safe, and I'm not going to get my tractor stuck in the hole. I just take off little layers at a time, creating a downward slope. Once I'm down low enough, I'll go ahead and start scraping off the bottom of the root ball by using the root grapple. And the reason I'm doing this is to try and remove the excess weight from the tree stump to make it more manageable. The other reason why is I'm trying to backfill the hole so I don't have to bring in dirt. And then also rocking that stump back and forth still is compacting the soil on the other side of the hole. And going back to knowing the limits of your tractor, I want to discuss what I've seen out there. I go out and do evaluations on people's tractors on a regular basis, and sometimes you'll see a tractor where somebody's hooked a chain up to the frame, either on the loader arms or on the frame of the tractor, and you can see it's bent. And that's because when the customer had the chains hooked to the tractor, they took off going full speed, hoping that the inertia would pull the tree out of the ground. That shock is mainly felt on the tractor, and you definitely are going to do a lot of damage when that happens. Being patient is something that is going to save you money in the long run, but I found that this technique actually takes no more time than using the chain method. Speeding the video back up once more, I'm pushing dirt back into the hole, trying to create an access point so that I can come in contact with the top of that stump. I want to knock down as much of the dirt surrounding the hole as I possibly can. That way I have a good stable base, and I'm also looking to make sure that there's no roots or things like that in those piles of dirt that could damage the undercarriage of the tractor, especially the mower system, which is still on my tractor at this point. And here I'm using the tree stump to pretty much compact the entire bottom, and I'm also scraping off the remaining dirt that's on the bottom of the root ball. And you got a pretty good perspective there of what that looks like. And at this point, I've got most of it off of the stump. Once that I feel that I've created a strong enough ramp that's going to support the tractor as I drive into the hole, I'm going to go back into the other side, and I'm going to use that stump to kind of compact that soil even a little bit more. And I'm also going to continue to build that entrance ramp on the other side of the tree. And that way I feel pretty comfortable that I can push the stump out, and you can see here that it's pretty much almost out of the hole at this point. And you can see that I'm not taking anything for granted. I'm constantly testing the ground to make sure it's safe to enter, and just move forward with caution. And we're ready to move on to the next stump. But unfortunately you can see the sun is getting low in the sky, and it's time to call it a day. I want to thank everybody once again for joining me at Everything Green Tractors. If you liked what you saw today, please hit that like and subscribe button. Next time we're going to be taking out that remaining stump, and this one is a monster. It's definitely going to take a lot to get it out of the ground, but you're going to see that the 1025 is up to the task. And once again, I want to thank everybody for joining me. Thank you so much. My name is Phil Dance, and I sell John Deere tractors.